Moved 6 of your friends from back home to Atlanta?
I didn't move when we all left together.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you were supporting them financially.
We supported one another. I mean, millions of dollars. I don't know what you call it. I don't know if we call it me supporting them. I never felt like I supported anybody. I gave. I was a real, genuine person with my money.
This is sort of a Newport News thing because Allen Iverson kind of had the same thing going on. He would always have a big crew from back home with him.
Man, you got a crew.
Yeah, but I don't financially support him though.
Back you was 20 years old, it might have been different. You had a couple $1 million. You might look at it different. You know what I'm saying? You and your boys, y'all had it lit. It's like walking in that back room and you broke and you find $20 million and you found it. They was outside. You ain't gonna give them nothing. You're not gonna give him a dime. He got a kids and he trying to get an apartment. You're not gonna help him when you got a pocket full of money.
It's a tough situation.
No, it's not a tough situation. It's a respect level, man. Like, I don't value a dollar, I value, loyalty, I value respect.
The clock just keeps ticking down, and the lower that number gets, you realize how fucking amazing now is. The present is a miracle, bro.
I said I'm never coming back again. Next I stepped away from the mirror. I got my mind made up now, cause I can see the future much clearer. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscriber died trying. You see the thumbnail. More importantly, you saw the clip. Shout out to Mike Vick, man. They say, black people need to stick together. And it's a heck of a hypocrisy, and I can call myself out for being part of it. So you got some people, they make it and they take care of their family and their closest friends, or some of their family and some of their closest friends. And it's like, man, people are just, they're just an entourage. They just hangers on, and they don't learn how to have a skill or anything else. But then on the flip side, we say, hey, man, black people need to look out for each other. And it's like, well, and I've been a person that's kind of, I guess, trying to bridge that by saying, we need to help the right people. You get what I'm saying? We need to help people who are gonna either bring something to the table or be responsible for what they've been given. But part of what Vic said at the end of this, and I remember this when he did it a while back. He was like, "Yo, it's not a, no, if I got some money, and if I got some person that needs an apartment, I'm not gonna do that." And there's a fine line between, you're not supposed to. It's not a fine line. You're not supposed to go broke and just give everything away, but you're not supposed to just let people struggle when they're doing the right thing also. And I think that's the issue. Once again, it's like some people have a heart for that and some people don't. Some people, have survivor's remorse and they're givers, and some people are like, nah, it's mine, it's mine, whatever. But then we play this game where you go, you got all these black men in these high positions, not even high positions, but who have all this money, and somehow they can't work with other black men. And even when I'm saying other black men that are rich like them, it's like, man, so on one end, you know, we should stick together, but we shouldn't be helping the poor people of us. And on the other end, we should stick together, but we're not doing business, with each other, even if we're on the upper level. And it's like, listen, at some point you're gonna have to pick a side. And the reason why that's said is because on a racial aspect, people go, you black folks ain't got a problem with breaking bread with white people. You don't. Like, and let's say you, like, I'm not black, but we don't. They go, oh man, this person's in charge of this person's in charge of that, this person's in charge of that, and people go, yeah, because these people, they have a long history of these type of business transactions or financial transactions, but at the same time, they got a long history of robbing you too, robbing us too. They got a long history of that. It ain't, sometimes we talk about black people and financial literacy, but what we don't talk about is sometimes, it's not overspending, or a guy gets divorced and he loses all his money. Sometimes it's theft and bad, what do you call it? Bad investments that were given to you as bad investments knowingly. You get what I'm saying? So going back to the beginning of what Mike Vick was talking about, like I say, if you're in that position, designate some money to help some people. That you can't help everybody, and that's fine. But when you say, black people don't stick together, it's like, when black people do stick together, it's looked at as a problem. You get what I'm saying? It's looked at as a problem. Why are you looking out for them? Why are you doing this for them? Why are you doing that for them? And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. You can't have it both ways. And sometimes we got an issue where people want us to stick together and look out for each other, but I want you to look out for me personally. You get what I'm saying? That's what it is. Like, you looking out for them, but you're not looking out for me, whatever. So now we got more issues. And on top of that, because there's stories. Excuse me. I'm under the weather, so excuse me. Even with people like Michael Vick and Allen Iverson, there's stories about, them taking care of their family and their friends, and them having to, cut off, some family and friends because it was just too much. So that also happens. But that didn't stop them from doing what they were, like, helping people. And that becomes an issue because, you go, say, us the black folks, if somebody makes a bunch of money, or you buy your mama a house, yada yada yada, and that's wrong. And then you go, the white folks don't buy their mamas a house, and it's like, yeah, different culture. Yeah, you're right. To a degree, you're right. That's not completely true, buddy. Because if they come from the same circumstances, they do the same thing. But so and that, but it's not looked at as a bad thing. You get what I'm saying? Whites, Hispanics, Asians take care of their parents is not looked at as a bad thing. I remember they had a thing with Ronaldo, I want to say. Cristiano Ronaldo, his father had a dream car was like a Ferrari. He bought his dad a Ferrari. Nobody looked at it like, oh, look at this. It was a touching moment, you know. But when it comes to us doing for our parents or our siblings, or how can I say this? Our siblings' kids, our nieces, nephews, cousins, or or even friends. It's like, oh, it's all a waste. It's always a waste. It's a waste to help this person, that person. And and what I realize is, and it's crossing my mind as I'm talking about this topic now, it's really more so the marketing of it, if I say that, the imagery of it, is because with us black folks in particular, they even have you have more stories of people who effed up the help than you do who actually did right by the help. And the truth of it is, there are far more people who did right by the help than who effed up the help. They don't go, hey man, such and such did, they got me an apartment for a year, or they got me a car, or they got me my first job, or they bought a house. Like, like people don't think about, and I'm gonna say this in this way. Speaking of Atlanta, and somebody played for the Falcons, Warrick Dunn, man. Warrick Dunn has been like helping predominantly single mothers with homes. What, for 20 years? He's been doing this for a minute, and I remember one of the homes was Deshaun Watson's mother. You know what I'm saying? And don't diss Deshaun Watson now, because come to find out, people was lying on him. You look at Tony Busby now, right? But it's that you don't know who you affected. Kind of like Denzel Washington with Chadwick Boseman, when Denzel Washington was doing these things where he was paying for people's acting school, and you get Chadwick Boseman is the person that one of the people that come out of that, and we don't talk about that as often. But one of the reasons is because a lot of people, and shout out to Mike Vick, like I said before, a lot of people who help people, when they don't want to tell the world they help people, and they don't even want the people that they help to tell people, because it's like, hey man, I ain't doing this for the world, and I ain't doing this, I'm doing this for you, and I think it's the right thing to do. And part of that, we don't stick together. We just don't. We don't do it for the camera. We don't do it for everybody to know. Yo, I did this and I did that. That's not what people do it for. So, do we stick together? Yes. More than the stereotype thinks. You get what I'm saying? So, and it's a double-edged sword. It's a hypocrisy, because you damned if you do, if you damned if you don't. So, if you was in a position to look out for your friend, for your family, for your friends, would you? And if you black and your answer is yes, you got a certain list of people you're gonna look out for. What does that tell you? We stick together. And if you had the opportunity to do it, that's what you would do. So that's, if you had to do it, you would stick together. So I'm gonna leave it at that, man. You tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.